All right, folks, we'll be getting started in about 5 or 6 minutes, so we'll ask all of our head table patrons to please make their way to the head table so they can take their seats. Everybody else seated and get ready to get started. Once again, we'll be starting in about 5 minutes, so everybody that's due to be at the head table, please make your way there now to get seated, and those that are in the audience, please take your seats or clear the aisle so we can get started shortly. Thank you. About 4 minutes now, about 4 minutes before we get started, about 4 minutes. So once again, I ask all of our head table players to please make their way to the head table, take their seats, and all of our audience to please clear the aisle, take seats, or stand on the side. Thank you. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We'll get started. 2 Ready? Thirty seconds. We'll start 30 seconds. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to our 30th annual Saints Hall of Fame induction, combined with our gala this year, and it is great to have you with us. I'm Ken Trahan, Master of Ceremonies and General Manager of the Saints Hall of Fame, and on behalf of our Board of Directors, we thank you for being here tonight. I want to start off by thanking all of our patrons and the outstanding food tonight, including all of our restaurants donating their services and time. And they're listed in the program. I'm going to mention them anyway real quick. 1718 Catering at the Hyatt, Acme Oyster House, Antoine's, Aroma Catering, Center Plate, Chateau Cafe, Chisasi Brothers Ricky Jackson Smoked Sausage, Copeland's of Kenner, Dini's Seafood, Gambino's Bakeries, Hooters Restaurant, Impastados, Jambalaya Girl with Ricky Jackson, Katie's in Mid-City, also Krispy Kreme, Manning's Restaurant, Messina's at the Terminal, Old Saint, PJ's Coffee, Pigeon Caterers, Marino's Italian Sausage, Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, Zia Rotisserie and Grill, Zoe's Kitchen, and we appreciate each and every one of them providing the outstanding food tonight, which, by the way, will be available once we're finished with the induction as well. But welcome once again. It's great to have you with us. And to get things started here this evening, I'm going to call upon the Very Reverend David Caron, the Vicar of Evangelization. Easy for me to say, for the Diocese of New Orleans. Reverend David Caron. David?
Good evening, everyone. When I greet my congregation on Sunday mornings as we're about to celebrate Mass, before the saints play, I always say, today, friends, let's pray for the saints, those on the field and those in the house. Tonight, both are together. So as we begin our prayer, we draw inspiration from 1 Corinthians 10, which says, whether you eat or drink, do it for the glory of God. And so tonight, as we begin our prayer, we pray for those in the Carolinas, Amen. The spirit of Tom Benson permeates our gathering tonight, amen? And so we pray. O God, who infuses our being with joy, we gather to celebrate the induction of Lance Moore and Pierre Thomas to the Saints Hall of Fame, as well as Michael Hebert with the Fleur-de-Lis Award. In doing so, celebrating their admirable qualities. Some of these qualities we know in our own endeavors: hard work, sacrifice, refinement, benevolence. Some of these qualities we only glimpse in combination. These qualities are breathtaking. Thank you, God, for allowing us to witness these individuals on the athletic field and off, and celebrate in this event tonight. Wonderful food has been prepared for our gathering, and as A great meal has rich texture of color, style, taste, and uniqueness. So too does this community of athletes and those that support them, that provides us with joy and entertainment. Bless us tonight as we honor individuals who give our sport its great reputation. As we celebrate them, help us to know, O God, that each of us has been given a place of honor in your sight, because all of us are made in your image and likeness. And so we praise you. Praise is the gift that always returns to the giver. We thank you for the people around us, for the food that sustains us in a world where many walk in hunger, for faith where many walk in fear, and for friends in a world where many walk alone. O God, as your saints go marching into life, know that our hearts are full of thanks and praise. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Wow, it's time for kickoff, huh? Way to go. Father Dave, it's great to have you with us here this evening. Well, of course, so much to get into here tonight, and we're honoring some individuals who are richly deserving of what they're going to receive tonight, and I know you're going to be very happy for them, as I know they're extremely popular individuals, all three of them, and we sure do look forward to hearing from them, as you will shortly after you see what they've accomplished as well. But as we get started tonight with speakers, it's my pleasure to introduce to you a gentleman that really oversees two organizations, the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans. And he's a New Orleanian, and he's worked his way up the ladder in fantastic fashion and made each and every one of us proud to see what he's accomplished, and of course is accomplishing so much these days with running both these organizations. It's great to have him with us here this evening, and here to say a few words on behalf of the New Orleans Saints is the president of the New Orleans Saints and Pelicans, Mr. Dennis Lauscha. Dennis?
Thank you very much. It's always an honor to be here along with Mrs. Benson representing the New Orleans Saints. Sincerely, I appreciate everyone's support, and let me start by saying something which is important. Congratulations to Kenny. If you look around, we're sold out tonight, you know. And to be honest with you, good job. And to be honest with you, we're kind of used to sellouts, to be honest with you, and we expect a sellout every time, everywhere we go. But here's the deal. The reason we're sold out tonight is because there's galloping horses somewhere. The reason why we're sold out tonight is because of the two guys that were honored tonight that played football, and Michael Hebert, and I mean that sincerely, not just attracting you guys tonight to come, but they were the foundation of what built the New Orleans Saints to what we are today. I have been honored to work with Mike. People, you know, think all Mike does is show up and take pictures during the game. And I can tell you this, that's the furthest from the truth. You know, hours I've spent with Michael in my office talking about how we can improve the photography, because he's an artist. And the question is, how can we take advantage of him? And we would talk about, you know, heck, we talk about black and white pictures. We talked about how we can start a database so we could capture every single photo that we ever had in the New Orleans Saints and put them in one database so we could preserve the history of the New Orleans Saints. And that wasn't being done before, Michael. And, you know, we hired Mike to take pictures, but he did it on his own. He went out and he found every picture that he could find, and he put it on the database for us, and we now have preserved all that history for the New Orleans Saints, which we, you know, you'll never hear about that, but he did it behind the scenes, and he did it because he loves New Orleans and he loves the Saints. And I cannot be really more appreciative of that, Michael, to be honest with you. And as Kane said, as a Saints fan who grew up here, I really appreciate that, because now I remember all those old players. The other thing that he did, thankless job, thankless. We did not have every team picture. Can you believe that? He went out and found every single team picture on his own, and now we have every one of them framed, and we're very proud of them, and they're all in the Saints facility. So every player can be honored, and that's all because of Michael Hebert, and I really appreciate that, Michael. As far as our two players, Pierre, talking about pictures, I mean, the picture, I'm telling you, the NBA logo has Jerry West, the NFL logo, excuse me, Roger Goodell, should have you on it. For what you stood for, where are you? For what you stood for and what you did. But I will tell you this, that picture of you coming through that hole and you have that perfect balance. Now, you've seen this. I know everyone's seen this picture, that perfect balance. And all those defenders are down on the ground grasping, and you're running right through that hole. I'm telling you, we never forget that. Thank you so very much for what you did. And Lance, we go to work. And by the way, thanks for all of our employees who are here tonight. Thanks for all of our alumni who are here tonight, all of our retirees, and everyone else who's been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Thank you for being here tonight. But Lance, there's a picture I have to tell you inspires me. I'm telling you every day when I walk in that building, and I'll never forget. And I'm not just saying it because I'm up here. That picture that Michael took of you stretching your arms out on that 2-point conversion. I'm going to be honest with you. I see Ben Hales laughing here because I always talk about, reach higher, reach higher, reach higher. And that day you reached a little bit further, about that much more. And we got that 2-point conversion and we won the Super Bowl. And you're an inspiration to everyone. Real quickly, last thing I'll say is I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Mr. Benson. It's sad that he's not here tonight because I could tell you he loved these two players and he loved Michael. And these guys were the heart and soul of what we did coming back from Katrina. Without them, we had nothing. People like them. And he respected that so much. He loved you guys so much. He loved everyone, but really, thank you for what you did for this organization. Thank you for what you did for Tom Benson. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you.
To those that have served the New Orleans Saints organization in great fashion over the past year since we last left you a year ago here. And since that time, we have had some people that have been associated with the New Orleans Saints who have left this earth, and we always like to recognize them with our video to our dearly departed saints, our in memoriam video, as we draw your attention to the screens on either side. Once again, our tribute to each and every one of those individuals. Give them a round of applause. Our first order of business in terms of awards is to present the Joe Gemelli Fleur-de-Lis Award. This award was created by our Media Selection Committee to recognize those who deserve to be honored for their outstanding service, whether it's to the organization, whether it's indirectly for the organization, or whether it's because you were just a great supporter of the organization. And the award is named after the gentleman who exemplified that best, Joe Gemelli. There was no greater Saints fan, no better individual that you could ever meet, and was universally loved by everyone. And it's great to continue his legacy today with the naming of this award in his honor. And the Joe Gemelli Fleur-de-Lis Award has been given to a lot of different people over the years. If you look at the back of your programs, it runs the gamut from fans to people that have worked for the Saints organization to media people, even in the political world. Anyone that's been part and parcel of supporting the organization and have done so in great fashion have been honored with this award. And we always miss someone along the way, but our committee does a great job of trying to come up with people on an annual basis, and they surely did this year. As we draw your attention to the screens once more, as we recognize this year's Joe Gemelli Fleur-de-Lis Award recipient, Mr. Michael C. Hebert.
Michael's got a great way about him where he's got the tough job, really. You know, he's invisible, and yet you'll see a picture and think, man, I don't recall anyone having that access or angle. And there's an art to that, trust me, and he can certainly vouch for that. Sometimes the timing maybe is not what you want, and yet when you see the result, you're like, I'm glad he was there.
Because he's committed to his craft, to his profession. I've learned so much in the time that I've worked with him in my 23 years with this organization. He's taught me so much. He's just got a passion for what he does. And when it comes to working with young people like I do, he shares that same passion. The trading cards that we work together, you can see it in his work. His motto is much like mine. He wants to get it right the first time, and that's the way I am about doing it right the first time. He's the same way with his pictures. He's just a consummate professional, simply the greatest, the best in the business, and he deserves this award. Just love working with him.
How important is Michael Hebert to the Saints? Invaluable. What he does for this organization is beyond reproach. He is as consummate a professional as you'll ever find. What he does for the Saints Hall of Fame? Well, let me put it this way. There wouldn't be a Saints Hall of Fame as it exists today without Michael C. Hebert and what he's done for this museum for the past 2 decades. His work is remarkable. His dedication is unsurpassed.
The pictures that he takes, they're so great. I'm talking about the book. He had some shots of me that I never saw in my life, and when he was showing me those pictures, I was like, dude, this dude does so much, and he does so much beyond of what people think he does on the field or whatever. I mean, he's been with the organization for a long time. He has some of the best action shots that nobody really knows about, and plus he's actually a great person when it comes down to not just the organization, but also to the Hall of Fame as well.
A New Orleans area native, Michael C. Hebert is quite simply one of the best sports photographers in the business. A graduate of Archbishop Rummel, where he played football, and Tulane University, Hebert has been a Saints fan from the womb. Having shot some of the top sporting events in the world for the NFL, NBA, PGA, NASCAR, and other entities, Hebert was lured home by the New Orleans Saints in 1997 to take over as the director of photography for the organization. It was a brilliant move, and the results have been brilliant. Now in his 22nd year with the Saints, Hebert's job is a labor of love. His pictures before, during, and after the Saints Super Bowl 44 victory in Miami of 2010 are a highlight of the Saints Hall of Fame Museum and the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. From that experience, a book was published called World Champs, providing fans with a behind-the-scenes perspective and his biography of the championship run. For the past decade, Hebert has served as an officer for the Saints Hall of Fame, now serving in a senior administrative role and helping make the museum a can't-miss visit for Saints fans young and old for generations to come. Please welcome our 2018 Joe Gemelli Florida Lee Award recipient for his vast contributions to the New Orleans Saints and the Saints Hall of Fame, Michael C. Hebert.
Thank you very much. Good night. No, I'm just kidding. Here to present Michael Hebert is a gentleman that means a lot to him because he comes from the same business. And oftentimes people look up to others who have done many of the same things they do. Many times we look up to those as mentors who have done what we do. Tonight, Michael's blessed to have Bob Rosado here to share that experience and to introduce Michael so you can get up and cheer him one more time. Bob, come on up.
Wow, I don't know how you follow that up. That was pretty awesome. Well, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here with you tonight and honor these great men, including my close friend, Michael. To the best of my knowledge, there's only one other team photographer in the NFL that was inducted into their team's Hall of Fame. That was back in 2002 when Vernon Beaver was inducted for the Green Bay Packers. I'd like to thank the executive leadership of the New Orleans Saints, especially Mrs. Benson, Dennis Lauscha, Mickey Loomis, of course Coach Payton, and Greg Bensel, for the trust that you've put in Michael, which has led to this amazing honor. It's a testament to the class of this organization, its commitment to excellence both on and off the field. Michael and I met back in the mid-'80s at a game in Starkville, Mississippi. At the time, we were both working for NFL Properties Creative Services, and we didn't know one another. We had heard of one another, but had never met until that day in Starkville. We immediately struck up a friendship that's now lasted over 3 decades. It's brought us together again tonight on this momentous occasion. Our careers allowed us to spend a great deal of time together, even though we didn't live in the same city. We traveled all over the country covering games, and we shared a bond that extended well beyond the profession. Our wives will tell you that it's amazing how much alike Michael and I really are. Rarely in life do you meet a person like Michael Hebert. If I'm a coach, he's the player that I want to model my team after. He's one of the most passionate people I've ever met. Steve Jobs once said, "People with passion can change the world." Well, Michael's drenched in passion. It causes him to approach everything he does with enthusiasm, no matter what it is, and it's infectious. He believes in himself and possesses a deep self-confidence that is coupled with a relentless work ethic, as you've heard. He cares. Michael Hebert cares deeply about what he does, how he does it, and what the results are. He deeply cares about others, even when it's not in his own interests. Michael is a leader who's set the bar high by way of his own demeanor. He has a knack to make you feel like you're the most important person on the planet. And I'm sure most of you have experienced that know him. But he also shoots straight from the hip, and I'm sure some of you have heard that too. Michael is intense. He's laser focused and motivated, yet he has the grit to persevere when challenged. Nothing illustrated this more than in February of 2000, when his precious daughter, Brittany, 12 years old, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She was given a 20% chance of survival. 28 days after that diagnosis, Michael lost his hero, his father, at age 60. And with the heart of a lion like her dad, Brittany kicked cancer's butt. She astonished the medical field, the medical community, and sits here tonight cancer-free. Michael's been blessed with his beautiful wife, Kim. They just celebrated their 35th wedding anniversary. Kim has provided amazing support for their family over the years, which is not always easy for guys like us that travel so much and are on the road, as you can imagine. Michael and Kim's brilliance and their work ethic influenced their son, Brad, who went on to graduate at the University of Pennsylvania and the Wharton School of Business with a double major in Chinese and economics. As the video said, Michael embodies the consummate professional in all he does. He has an acute understanding of how to conduct himself in virtually all types of situations. Michael built a level of trust rarely seen in our business, and certainly for a team photographer. He knows how to capture moments of emotion under conditions of extreme pressure, perhaps awkward and maybe sometimes unusual, but he always gets the picture. Michael's a football guy, and he loves the New Orleans Saints. For as long as I can remember, Michael strived to make his team look good. The circumstances never mattered to Michael because he sees it all as important and unique, and a moment in time never to be repeated. His mission was always to make the Saints look good. In the wake of losing his dad and his daughter's illness a few years earlier, along comes Hurricane Katrina, and we all know what took place and the impact it had on this area. In 2006, Coach Payton arrives, and before too long, a relationship between an NFL head coach and a team photographer is made. I mean, what team allows the team photographer to carry the championship trophy from the stadium? That's incredible. Coach, I know you're not here, but Michael has an extraordinary amount of respect for you. At the Super Bowl in Miami, as time expired, I was on the Saints sideline. I knew Michael was somewhere in the little scrum in the melee that takes place at the end of these kinds of games. I was taking pictures of Coach Payton being doused in Gatorade. I think we were all getting doused. And then being lifted up, hoisted up by a group of jubilant men, a couple of them who are sitting here tonight. All I could think about was Michael. As the field cleared, once all the celebration took place, I found Michael's brother Steve. I stayed with Steve until I could find Michael. It was then and there that the book seemingly closed on all the Heberts had been through several years prior. It was an emotional moment, needless to say. The following season, I was in New Orleans for the Thursday night opener. Michael, a few of my SI colleagues, and I had lunch before the game. Michael presented me with this book. If I could get it out. As I told Michael, this was one of the most brilliant pieces of work I had ever seen. The images were stunning, the moments extraordinary, the access unprecedented. The body of work in this book exemplifies all the brilliance of a man who conducted himself with immense passion, grace, and professionalism. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct privilege and honor to present for induction into the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame class of 2018, my twin brother from another mother, Michael C. Hebert.
Bob Rosado. Where do I begin? Bob Rosado is probably one of the finest sports photographers in the country. Bob worked for Sports Illustrated for many, many years. He's the chief operating officer for USA Today Imaging. Forget all that, he's a wonderful person. I truly enjoyed all my time working with you. You and I are very similar in a lot of ways, but man, there's nobody better, Bob. And I respect you so much. I learned from you. I respected you. And you're one of the guys who does it right. So thank you so much for being here. Cindy Rosado. Bob's wife came in. They both came in from Georgia. So, you know, it's a commitment. I appreciate they run businesses. They're busy people. But Cindy, I don't take for granted that you're here tonight. Thank y'all both. Y'all mean so much to me. Thank you. All the people here tonight, the Saints fans are the best. You know, everybody realizes that our connection with our city is special. And you're right, Dennis. It's personal to me. It's personal. The Saints Hall of Fame Media Selection Committee. I'm so fortunate that I've been in some of those meetings. You don't realize how seriously these men take this. But once again, for me, it's personal. I was raised here. I was born in New Orleans. I was raised in Metairie. I went to Archbishop Rummel in Tulane. And the reality is, for 14 years, I worked with Bob Rosado with Sports Illustrated and NFL Properties, and then I came home, and I've been with New Orleans 21 years, and I got a lot more to go, man. I got the best job in the building. Lance and Pierre. I'm going to get to y'all in a little bit because, you know, when Bob talks about connections and Dennis talks about the passion of individuals, they're being honored as players, and boy, do they deserve it. When Dennis says that they're the cornerstone, you better believe it. But they're better people. And my respect for these guys, because they didn't come up the easy way. They came up the hard way, and Coach Payton's a believer. He doesn't care how you get here, and they're living proof of that. So, guys, I'm so proud to be up here with y'all. Congratulations to both of you. Mr. Jay Romig was honored with this award last year, and Jay gave me some advice. You can't thank everybody in the room. I've worked with so many wonderful people for 35 years doing what I do, but you know what, Jay? The coolest thing about this honor is my name's gonna be next to yours for life. I don't know where you are in the room, but I love you, Jay, and I'm so honored, man. So thanks for the advice. But I am gonna thank a few people, and I'm gonna start at the top. Ms. Benson, you're so special to all of us. You do so much for our city, our organization, and it's because you care. And anybody who hadn't met you, just spend a little time. You care so much, and we love you for that. Thank you. Bob touched on it a little bit. I'm like so lucky because not only do I get to work for my hometown team, the New Orleans Saints, you need to understand that things are different here. All you guys know that. Y'all are from here. We have ownership that's second to none. Ms. Benson supports the Saints Hall of Fame, along with the other men I'm going to mention in a minute, but it's not like that everywhere. So when players like Pierre and Lance tell you, hey, this is special, it's because we get to live it. So once again, thank you so much. Dennis, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, I see Ben, I see Ed, I can go down the list of the people I work with, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But you hear people use the cliche about family. You don't understand, these people treat me like family. There's nothing they don't supply me with. There's not, I mean, the support is unbelievable. Dennis, I never take that for granted. My meetings with you, most of the time are probably 70% business related more than photography, and you don't know what it means to me, how much you care about me and my family. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Mickey and Sean aren't here right now, but let me tell you, when Bob says I got respect, unbelievable, because they allow me to do my job. And not many people are trusted and allowed to do what I do. Access, they trust me because they know I'll never embarrass our team. So once again, thank you. Friends and family, I can't mention everybody, but I'm just going to tell you, I believe God puts people in your life for reasons at different times. And I got high school football teammates here, I got old friends, I got new friends. I love you all. Y'all are all so special for me. Thank you for being here and sharing in this neat experience with us. Kenny Trahan, General Manager of the Saints Hall of Fame, congratulations, look around. Great job. I'm glad Dennis pointed that out because you know what? We keep wanting to make this bigger and better. Thank you. My parents aren't here tonight. They're in heaven and they're in black and gold tonight. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Mr. Benson in a second. Oh yeah, absolutely. But my parents were huge Saints fans, and if you go back to 1967, you'll hear people talk about they were at that Rams game, the first game when Gilliam ran that kickoff. Well, my parents really were. And they purchased a pennant for me that day that I still display in my office because I grew up in 1967. I was 7 years old. I played Tiny Tots and wore a Saints uniform. So, man, I'm die-hard, and I know they'd be so proud to be here tonight. My mom and dad were special, and they were big football fans and Saints fans. Mom and Dad, man, y'all gave me everything. Thank y'all. So I'm going to talk about two quick things. One is music and photography and how they impact our lives. And what they allow you to do is you go back in a moment. You hear a song or you look at an old picture. And Dennis and I have looked at some old great black and white pictures, and I'm into the history of the league. Bob mentioned Mr. Vernon Beaver. Mr. Vernon Beaver is the legendary Green Bay Packers photographer who shot all the famous black and white pictures of those glory years. Amazing work. Him and I became best of friends. He was such a special man, and I learned so much from him. To have my name with his I don't even know what to say. I'm so humbled and so thankful. But there are two songs. You know, one, Coach Payton was featured in a video with Kenny Chesney called The Boys of Fall. And the other one's Unanswered Prayers. Well, The Boys of Fall is basically a video about the passion of football, from Tiny Tots to the National Football League. It's about the emotion that the fans participate. Friday night high school is a big deal. I was lucky. I played at Archbishop Rummel. They talk about the smell of the locker room, the grass, your teammates. Well, I got to walk down the halls on a Friday wearing those jerseys, and it was special, rate of pride. But now the unanswered prayer. I was like Pierre and Lance. I wanted to play in the National Football League. But you know what? God had another plan. He decided he wanted me to carry a camera instead of a helmet on Sundays. And I'm so grateful. I got the best job in the building. I'm blessed beyond belief. I'm so appreciative. Coach Payton allows me to be a boy of fall still today. I played as a kid at 7 years old in '67, and I still get to play on Sunday in a different way. So, Coach Payton, man, I can't even begin to tell you how special it is. So now we're going to talk about the special picture, and I could pick hundreds. But you never know what impact a photo has when you take it. So let me just fast forward. The clock's ticking down, and the Saints are about to win the Super Bowl. Man, you can't even imagine what I'm thinking at this point. That's when the work began. So I'm cutting through the bench to get to Coach Payton as they lift him up. That's what every team does for an NFL head coach who wins a Super Bowl. And as I'm crossing through the bench, I see Pierre Thomas. He's on top of the bench, jumping up and down. So I stop for a brief second, I pull up the camera, and he leaps into Lance Moore's arms. You remember that? You remember that? This was the cover of a New Orleans magazine after we won the Super Bowl. Can you only imagine when I got the phone call from Kenny Trahan and Jay Romig telling me I was selected to be in the Saints Hall of Fame with Lance Moore and Pierre Thomas? This exemplifies everything the Saints stand for. This is special to me. Chris Bennett of Bennett's Photo printed this for us tonight. We're going to have the guy sign it, and we're going to give it away tonight as a door prize. And I'm gonna finish with a couple of quick things. Mr. Tom Benson. Oh boy, I could tell so many stories. We'd be here all night. But I'm gonna tell you one that's so special to me, and I hope it's special to you when I finish. You ready, Ms. Benson? Here we go. One of the very first games I worked for the New Orleans Saints, we got off the team plane, we get in the locker room, and it was one of those hot venues. So somebody walked up to me. I had just changed my shirt. I was in an NFL logoed golf shirt with black dress pants and black dress shoes. Security guy comes up and says, "Hey, there's someone who needs to talk to you from the stadium outside the locker room door." I said, "Okay." So I go out there. All of a sudden, I see Mr. Benson, just a few feet away, and he kept looking at me. And I was trying to hurry up the stadium guy. So I said, "Mr. Benson, do you need something?" He says, "Man, look at those photographers over there." I said, "Well, you want to talk to him?" He goes, "No, they're all in shorts." I said, "Yeah, it's pretty hot." He goes, "But look at you. You're wearing dress black pants. I love that about you. You know how to dress." So here's the catch. Anybody who knows Mr. Benson, he loved organization. From the way your desk looked, to where you parked in the parking lot, to how you dressed. So, man, I told him, "Well, thank you." So I go back in the locker room, and Silky and Dan are there, and said, "Man, take those shorts, put them away." What's wrong? You gonna go out there and dress black pants? Guess what? I wear dress black pants every game, and will continue to do that in Mr. Benson's honor. My family, anybody who knows me, man, look, I got it. I got the best. My daughter, Brittany. You are so special. You inspire me every day. You are tougher than any linebacker we ever had play for the Saints. Brad, You have God-gifted ability beyond belief, but what I'm most proud of is how caring you are and how hard you work. Your achievements didn't come easy, and you did it. I'm so proud of both of y'all. I love you both. And the person who keeps it all together, my wife, Kim. You know, 2018, to be inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame, you can't dream this. But to be married to Kim 35 years this August, man, she is the best person I ever met in my life. I love her so much. She keeps our family together. Kim, you'll never know how appreciative I am of what you did for those kids. As Bob said, in our life when we travel, it's very tough. I love you so much. To everybody here tonight, thanks is not enough. I'm so honored. Thank you.
Well, how's that for a start? Congratulations to Michael C. Hebert for that award. Now it's time to recognize a couple of special guys who, as Michael mentioned, rose above all odds, weren't expected to be in the positions they ended up in, weren't expected to accomplish much of anything, and here they are being inducted into their team's Hall of Fame this evening. We start with a video tribute to a guy that came up through the ranks, waited his turn, got his turn. He was too small. He wasn't fast enough. He wasn't tough enough. He wasn't an investment. And all he did was become one of the best receivers and best players in franchise history. We draw your attention to the career of Lance Moore.
He was a smaller receiver with an even smaller chance of making the team. Someone forgot to tell Lance Moore. At 5'9", 185 pounds, Moore became one of the most prolific wideouts in New Orleans Saints history.
Seizing the opportunity was former practice squad star Lance Moore. The sure-handed wideout was one of only 7 players to catch 10 touchdowns in 2008.
Into the end zone, touchdown, Lance Moore! And that is his 4th consecutive game with a touchdown.
He played 9 seasons with the Saints from 2005 through 2013 after starting his career as an undrafted free agent out of Toledo in 2005. Moore went on to appear in 101 games and recorded 346 receptions for 4,281 yards with 38 touchdown grabs and adding 1 rushing score. The Westerville, Ohio native is ranked 5th in the club record books in receptions, 7th in receiving yardage, 5th in touchdown receptions, 9th in total touchdowns, and 9th in 100-yard receiving games at the time of his induction.
Here's Breeze for Moore in the end zone. Touchdown, Lance Moore!
No Saint who went undrafted recorded as many receptions, receiving yards, or touchdowns as Moore. He also appeared in 6 career postseason contests for New Orleans and added 13 catches for 132 yards with 1 touchdown, as well as a key 2-point conversion reception late in the 4th quarter of Super Bowl 44 to put New Orleans ahead of the Indianapolis Colts 24-17.
Lance Moore, number 16, had a breakout season. He caught 66 passes and scored a team-high 8 touchdowns.
Here's Breeze throwing. Moore's wide open. Gone, baby, gone! With time, he throws near sideline. Moore takes it in. 10, 5, touchdown. Breeze He looks right, now throws under duress, back of the end zone, and it is caught on a carom by Lance Moore, but I don't know if he was in bounds. He was! He was!
Lance Moore just made one of the greatest plays that I've ever seen in my life.
Lance Moore, man. Nice job, baby. That's where they make a play, bro. We seen it all day. We see that every day. They just find it out.
In addition to being a stalwart on the field for New Orleans, Moore was a valuable member of the New Orleans community off the field. In 2012, he was named the team's nominee for the NFL's Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, recognizing his extensive community service in visiting schools, distress education, working to raise money to have homes for those in need built after Hurricane Katrina, and participating in numerous food and toy distributions during the holiday seasons.
Acrobatic catches were also part of Lance Moore's repertoire. Whether the job called for horizontal extension or vertical leap, number 16 was up to the task.
Breeze going to throw down the middle for Moore. Oh, what a one-handed grab! The circus catch by Lance Moore.
Moore reached the 1,000-yard receiving mark for the first time in his career, while leading all Saints starters in yards per catch average.
Breeze rolls right, pumps, looks over the secondary, throws it, and it's caught by Lance Moore, battling his way to the goal line and in. Lance Moore for the touchdown. And the Saints have taken the lead back from the Eagles.
One of the best receivers and best stories in New Orleans Saints history. Please welcome to the Saints Hall of Fame, number 16, Lance Moore.
Here to present Lance Moore for induction into the Saints Hall of Fame is one of his mentors and a friend and a really good man who served as his position coach with the New Orleans Saints and is back again for a second stint as wide receivers coach of the New Orleans Saints. Has done a tremendous job. It's great to have him with us here this evening. Please welcome my friend Curtis Johnson. CJ?
I would really be remiss not to, first of all, pay honor to Mr. Tom Benson. And I'm mentioning him first as a personal person to me. You know, and I never forget when I first got my job, the job at the New Orleans Saints, Mr. Benson called me in the office and asked me, he said, there was an article about the Atlanta Falcons defensive backs, and he said, can we beat those guys? I said, of course. I didn't know one way or the other if we could or we couldn't. But thank God Gleason blocked the punt, and we ended up winning. And ever since then, Mr. Benson kind of been around, and he would drive the golf cart around my drills, and he would come around and encourage me and give me some inspiration all the time. Mr. Benson and Mrs. Benson, I got to thank you again. Thanks to Dennis Lausche also. I see Mickey Loomis is in the back hiding, but I also got to thank him. I always call on him for information, and Sean Payton, who's a brother of mine also. When I was asked to do this, it was a tremendous, tremendous honor. It was almost like someone you was in the building with every day, someone that you dealt with on a personal level. In asking me, I'm really not the person to introduce this about this young man. And I'm gonna bring this story up first, and I'm gonna tell you how encouraging Lance was to me, and he doesn't even know this. My sister had a bout with leukemia, and because Lance was so smart and so articulate about different things. He educated me about leukemia, and he would often ask about, how's your sister? Just that alone drew me so much closer to Lance, because he's a person and he's a guy that really cares. So Lance, I always thank you for that. And you never knew that. Now this is a 3-time Hall of Famer. And this is where it started. It started in high school, an exceptional athlete. And I got this from his mother. He went to high school. He caught 103 receptions. He had 24 touchdown catches his senior year. And initially, Lance was a guy that sometimes, because of his size, he was a little bit overlooked. But all of a sudden, Toledo came a-calling. So in high school, Lance broke records. First guy, he's inducted to his Hall of Fame in high school. He goes to Toledo. He had 4,146 all-purpose yards in Toledo, 222 receptions, 2,767 yards, and 25 touchdowns, which was a record in 50 games. Again, this hadn't started with Lance. I mean, I think this guy is meant for this. 1,000-yard reception twice in school history, 14 touchdown reception. Lance was the player of the year in the Mid-America Conference, and Lance was inducted into the Toledo Athletic Hall of Fame. Second Hall of Fame already, with the encouragement of his mother, Debbie, and his father, Rick, because Lance was a guy who really, again, didn't get recognized. Lance also had a younger brother. He took care of his siblings. Nick would be here. Nick would be lost sometime. You know, Nick is a great athlete. Also, he'll be here today. Standout wide receiver in Toledo. Also in the CFL, he's with the British Columbia Lions right now, a place where I had a little short stint. He would be around with Lance. Lance had him around in New Orleans. Lance always took care of his little brother. Lance also was undrafted free agent, as we already said. Lance went caught up the hard way. He was undrafted, and I don't know if you know what that means. He didn't have anybody. He almost feels like he wasn't wanted. Again, his mother Debbie encouraged him again. He also went to the NFL Europe. When I first knew who Lance Moore was, he was in NFL Europe. And I said, nah, I kind of like this guy. When I watch film, I kind of like what he does. He's crafty, he has great hands. One of the most promising, he studied film. When we got Lance, he was one of the guys little. I say, I don't know if this guy can really do it. He was little, but I'm telling you, on the practice squad, I hate to say this, but he would eat those DBs alive every day. I mean, it was like, and the thing about Lance is he was always consistent. Everything with Lance looks the same, man. Effortless. Also was a great punt returner for us. That wasn't mentioned. Kickoff returner. He can do everything for a team. You know, and what I always tell guys when I use these guys as examples is, if you can, the more you can do, the better off you are. Lance is smart beyond his years. His same stats, 346 receptions, which is possible, 4,281 yards, almost about average 12 yards per catch and 38 touchdowns. Ranked 5th in the club for all that. All that from an undrafted free agent. Lance is also a philanthropist. He gives. Lance is a guy that's out in the community. He has a wonderful record doing all those things. He built softball events. He gives bikes at Christmas. I don't want to say all of it, Lance. All of Christmas, he works for the YMCA. Lance has a wonderful wife that he got lucky, because I'm telling you, she's the real draft choice now. Very lucky. Casey, you're amazing. He has 2 children. Let me tell you how great this guy is. Gray Lee is here. She's sitting over there. And then he has a daughter named Nola. He loves New Orleans. I would like to present to you the 2018 Hall of Fame inductee. My brother, my friend, I love them all, but this guy is special to me, Lance Moore.
Thank you, CJ. And as you guys could tell, CJ is a terrible speaker. Not very entertaining at all. This is like his first rodeo. But in all seriousness, I'm gonna get into you in a little bit. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was wonderful. If I could have written something about myself, I don't think it would have been nearly as good as that. Ken in the Saints Hall of Fame. I thought I told you at the press conference, man, we're done with this 5'9" stuff. It's 5'9" and 7/8. If we're being honest. Yeah. No, but thank you to the Saints Hall of Fame committee, the media, everybody who votes on this. This is a wonderful honor, and one that I can honestly say that I wasn't expecting. I thought that I had a pretty good career. I thought I did some good things here, both on and off the field, but to say that I expected this, I think I'd be lying to you. I'm honored. I'm humbled. Like I said, I never thought I'd be here. I'm not much of a speech writer, so I made some bullet points for myself, so I'm going to try to get to everybody. I know it's going to be hard for me. I'm not going to announce everybody by name because we don't have enough time for me to give thanks to all the people that I want to give thanks to. But I'd be remiss if I came up here and just talked about myself when all these wonderful people have already announced me and talked about me. I've got to spend my time giving thanks and showing the people that helped me get to this point how much I appreciate them. Michael Hebert. You are a true unsung hero, somebody that doesn't get, I don't think, the credit that you deserve, the things that you do for this organization. You bleed black and gold. You are the epitome of what it means to be a member of the Who Dat Nation, and your work, man, I mean, I've got a lot of your photos in my house. I didn't pay for them, but, I've got some great photos, and that, like, when it came out that we were going in together, I had to show my wife, well, this is the guy that took these pictures. So, man, I'm honored to be announced with you and Pierre. One of the two of us didn't get the dress code memo. I didn't say he didn't. I said one of the two of us. I've always been cleaner than Pierre anyway, so it makes sense that I'm going into the Hall of Fame as such. A quick story. Like I said, I'm not much of a speech writer, and they said Ken said, Lance, you got 3 minutes. I said, 3 minutes? What am I going to do with 3 minutes? So anyways, this is my wedding reception jacket by Timmy Doe and Fellow Suits. He's actually in the building, got business cards if you guys want to holler at him. But I thought, man, this jacket is so cool, and I paid a lot of good money for it, so hopefully there's going to be something that comes up in the future that I could actually wear this jacket again, and here we are, 2018 Saints Hall of Fame. This is going to be kind of random, and I want to thank the Cleveland Browns for cutting me. Back in 2005, you know what? It's very ironic, actually, that that's whose butts is going to be getting kicked on Sunday here in the Dome. Yeah. But if it wasn't for them being idiots and cutting me, then I might not. Actually, I know I would probably not be standing here in front of you today. So I've got to thank them. The Who Dat Nation. Yeah. The best fans in the world. I have been in other organizations, some really good organizations, and I tell people all the time, whether it's through the media or just having conversations with friends, how amazing you all are. The feeling that we have as players or had as players when we're amongst you all is a true feeling of family. And I could tell you, it's not like that everywhere. There may be a few organizations that come close, but nobody has the level of commitment. Nobody has the effect that you guys have on us, and I guess vice versa, because when we lose, you guys are miserable. and of course, in the social media age, we have to hear about it. So thank you for being awesome and terrible all at the same time. Mr. and Mrs. Benson. Obviously, Mr. Benson is not here. God rest his soul. But you all are an amazing group of people to have worked for, to have been around, to have gotten to know. You guys are New Orleans. You guys love this city. You love this whole region. You love this team. and you guys being able to pretty much give the team whatever they want and need, that means a whole lot. I know the guys don't get a chance to tell you that all the time, but from the bottom of my heart, I'm very appreciative, and thank you. Want to get into the people in the organization. I'm just going to read off a bunch of people. We don't have to clap for every single one. I'll take some breaks so we can clap for them. But the whole entire Saints staff, receptionists, cafeteria workers, grounds crew, the community department, Alicia Broussard, I hope she's here somewhere. Thank you. Yes, there she is. Another unsung hero that is always in the community trying to make this place a better place. And she definitely doesn't get the praise that she deserves, but she's been an awesome friend, an awesome person to work with. And I became one of kind of her go-to guys in my time here because I understood what it meant to give back and to try to make this place a better place. But I was just hoping that I could do just a fraction of what she does on a daily basis. So thank you. Thank you. Along with the community service and things like that, Jason Trosclair and the Saints Kids Club staff, in 2012, I was the lead or the spokesperson for the Saints Kids Club. We threw different events and camps and things at the Saints facility where kids just got to come and feel like Saints players for a day. That was an awesome honor for me to be able to be a part of. I thank them. The awesome trainers that work with us on a daily basis to help to try to keep us on the field. Equipment staff, guys like Corey and Bum, and Chief and Silky. I mean, all these guys were awesome in making sure that we were laced up and suited and booted on Sundays and looking great. All the media department, the digital media department, video, scouting department, marketing, sales, security, the janitorial workers, the people that come in and clean up after us adults that leave the place dirty because we can't clean up after ourselves most of the time. They don't know it, but we appreciate them, and I want to give them their praise as well. All the awesome flight attendants and pilots that flew us everywhere. I mean, you guys had an effect on us, and you probably don't know it. All the staff at the local hotels. We bounced around in my time here. I played 9 years here. We were all over the place, but everybody was awesome. My chiropractor team, Dr. Rob, Miss Bridget, the whole American Back Institute. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Just keeping me on the field. It's crazy. I was a guy in my career, and I had a bunch of what they call soft tissue injuries. So that's muscle pulls, strains, things like that. And occasionally, good thing Sean's not. I hope Sean's not here. Occasionally, I would have something kind of happen on a Friday, a pull or a tweak or something, and I would call Dr. Rob or Miss Bridget, and I would say, hey, I've got a hammy. And they'd say, come over right after practice. And they would work their voodoo magic on my hamstring or my groin or whatever it was, and somehow, some way, I'd miraculously be on the field on Sunday. So I appreciate you. Thank you. All the dome workers, the people that make the show go each and every weekend of the home games that I'm sure don't get any praise, really. I appreciate you. Thank you for always being there for us and making it really easy for us to come in and do our thing. The front office staff, especially James Nagaoka, Dennis Lauscha, Mickey Loomis, these guys not only were awesome in the Saints building, but these guys encouraged and helped me finally get my degree from Toledo. The 2013 season, I had a number of classes to go, and these guys volunteered to allow me to interview them and get some pertinent information for the papers that I was writing. So thank you. I'll always remember that. I appreciate that. Can't forget Jay Romick, the man who makes everything go at the Saints organization. Another unsung hero, but he got recognized last year, so I guess he's not, and he's pretty sung at this point. So I'll go on to the next one, Jay. You've been praised enough. My marketing team that started out here with Michael Harris, and then several years later, Darren and Shireen DeWalt. You guys are more than just my team. You guys are my family. I appreciate you, not just for what we did as far as marketing and making money off the field, but allowing to give back to this community as well. That's something that means so much to me. It's kind of a common thread, a common thing, and you guys facilitated and made it a lot easier for me. All the awesome coaches, that I had in my time here that actually started with Coach Jim Haslett. 2005 was my rookie year, the Hurricane Katrina season, obviously. I had been cut by the Browns after week 3 of the preseason game, and didn't really know where my career was going to go from there. Wasn't sure if I was going to get another opportunity or not. And somehow, some way, I didn't hear from the Saints before the draft, at the combine. When I was cut, I didn't hear from them, but somehow, some way, they found me. And I remember like it was yesterday, the first day I showed up in the Alamo Dome, Coach Haslett came to meet me, and he said, "You know you're going to play cornerback, right?" And I said, "What?" He said, "Oh, yeah, you're on practice squad. You're going to do everything. You're going to go get water. You're going to get coffee. You're going to get donuts and McDonald's." But I said, "You know what? I will do whatever you want me to do. I'm happy to be here, and I'm ready to work." And that I'll never forget that. Coach Payton, I wish he was here so I can give him some stuff again about shipping me off to NFL Europe when he got here. I just figured it was a personal thing. Like, I don't like that guy. I'm going to send him off to Europe where I don't have to deal with him. I didn't really know what was going on with that. And I initially told my agent that I didn't want to go. I said I wanted to be around the new regime. I wanted to be around my teammates and learn this offense and do these things. But thankfully for my agent, I listened to him and went over to NFL Europe and enjoyed that experience. And I think it really helped propel me in the right direction when I came back. CJ, who was awesome enough to announce me, this guy, he was mellow tonight. Let's just call it that. If you've ever been to a Saints game, practice, meeting, anything like that, this guy is yelling and screaming. And I think if you didn't know any better and you just saw him for the first time, you would think he was special. Just because that's the type of, mannerisms and the energy that he has. You just kind of look at him like, who is this guy and why is he so crazy? But it is that personality and that craziness, I know that is the reason why I'm here today. I know for a fact that if I didn't have CJ as a receiver coach, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you. Not only was he an awesome coach and coached a ton of guys, both in college and in the NFL, that are great players. A couple of them are going to be NFL Hall of Fame players here pretty soon. That just shows you the level of coach that he is, but an even better person, born and raised here in New Orleans, cares about this community, and him showing that he cares about this community really showed each and every day. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Got to thank Coach Henry Ellard, should be an NFL Hall of Famer. He was my receiver coach after CJ dumped me and went to Tulane. Or should I say, dumped us, Colston and Devery. He dumped us and went to Tulane. But Coach Ellard, Carter Sheridan, a man that did so much for us receivers and made sure that we were on point and in the right place at the right time and always kind of looked out for us and always shot us straight. Another man that is a great coach and doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Carter, I appreciate you. I love you too. Pete Carmichael, Joe Lombardi, Joe Vitt, all these guys were awesome coaches and inspired me and really made it a pleasure to go to work each and every day. You play in the NFL and you've got all these guys that you spend more time with than anybody else. You don't spend as much time with your family. I was lucky enough to just be a single guy back then, but the guys that have families and wives and kids, these guys really become your family. And it was an awesome environment to be around these great men and to spend so much time with them. Obviously, the most amazing teammates that a guy could ever ask for. There's way too many to name. I can't name everybody. But a special thanks to the guys that inspired me and really kind of taught me how to be pros in my rookie year. Hollywood Joe Horn, Dante Stallworth, Michael Lewis, Azahir Hakeem. These guys, I wish this was an R-rated event. I could tell you the story of my first day in San Antonio, how Joe Horn welcomed me to the wide receiver group. But I'll save that one for like a late night event somewhere where we're in a more intimate setting with no kids, especially not my kids. I don't want them to hear the story. But if you guys know Joe Hollywood, it was pretty crazy. I know Dev remembers that day. Yeah, that was one of those moments where I was kind of shaking in my boots, and I was like, oh, what am I in for here? Special thanks to my brother Will Smith. Yeah, Will was a guy that played at Ohio State. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. We had a ton of mutual friends. We had met a few times before I signed with the Saints, but we weren't really close. But the first day that I got there, he made sure that he found me and asked me each and every day if I was okay and if I ever needed anything. There was a few things that happened in the first couple of years where we had some time off. And obviously, he was a first-round pick, had a lot more money than me, being a practice squad guy. And he would let me fly with him on his private jet back to Columbus to see my family. And those little things as a young player, you don't ever forget. I love him. I miss him dearly. I'm honored to be a member of the Saints Hall of Fame with him. So, love you, Will. To Marcus Colston G. Barry III, the best New Orleans Saints wide receiver in history. Yeah. Yeah. And to the Bluegrass Miracle Man himself, number 19, Devery Henderson. And our last brother of the fearsome foursome, Robert Meacham, who I haven't seen him here, but thank you guys for embodying the idea that we were playing for something bigger than ourselves, for sacrificing when a lot of players on a lot of other teams probably wouldn't have been so happy to sacrifice, and realizing that one of our successes would be all of our success. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And it was just awesome to be in the same wide receiver corps as you guys for so many years. Thank you. The funny thing is, like, I'm dead serious when I mean that. You go a lot of places, and as a player, there's a lot of guys with different personalities. Some guys are younger, some guys are older, some guys don't care a lick about you. They just are there to handle their business and go home. These guys are not like that. I think it worked so well for us because we're all kind of around the same age and we were doing similar things at that time. But these guys really were selfless in how they played the game, and we celebrated one another each and every time one of us made a play. And I promise you, it's not like that everywhere. So I don't think I can give you guys enough props for how that made me feel, especially kind of the route that I took, which was different from everybody else's. So I appreciate you. Chuck and Christy Rayborn, Field of Dreams. Worked with you guys so many times, and Chuck is gonna cry. This is my guy. He owns a memorabilia store, and I've done so many signings with him. But not only that, these guys treated me like family from day one. All the things that we were able to do, we met I know your kids. You don't have to cry that much. Like, dang. Like, my wife is asking me if I'm going to cry, and you're crying for both of us. So, no, I appreciate you guys. Orny, another guy who's an unsung hero, who does so much for the organization, who does so much as far as taking care of the players. Obviously, Mickey and Sean make a lot of the decisions, and so do you, and I love it. Appreciate it. I love you, brother. And then to a lot of other guys who were my teammates who I've got to mention by name. Timo, love you. Appreciate you being here. Pierre Thomas, who I'll talk a little bit more about in a second. Reggie Bush, Darren Sproles, Courtney Roby, Alfred Fincher, Mark Ingram, Zach Streif, Jari Evans, Jermon Bushrod, Roman Harper, Jimmy Graham, Kenny Stills. Just to name a few of these guys, both, some of them current and a lot of them not current anymore. These guys are truly my brothers. I still talk to all the time to this day. I love you all. Thank you. Of course, I can't forget about number 9. Yeah. Drew Brees I tell people all the time, Drew Brees is an extension of Sean Payton on the field. Like the two of them during the week are like attached to the hip, you know, like the old relay race where you tie the legs together. They're like out on the practice field trying to hop around with each other. That's how in sync that those guys are. And when we're out on the field, obviously Sean can't be there. So we know we got to look to Drew when we're in a pinch or when we don't know what we're doing. And Drew is always able to get us in the right place at the right time and allow the receivers to just play football. We don't have to do anything extra. Drew's going to handle all the extra stuff. And to be just mentioned as one of the guys that got a chance to play a short period of time with the guy that will go down as one of the best quarterbacks and football players to ever play in the NFL is an amazing honor. And Drew, I mean, the thing that's coolest about Drew is Drew's an even better person than he is a player. He gets praised for what he does with his foundation and the work he does in the community. But I remember my first day here in 2006. I had just gotten hurt in NFL Europe. I got shipped to Birmingham for a while because that's where we rehabbed our injuries back then. I came back to the Saints a few weeks later because somehow, miraculously, I got released from being there when you weren't supposed to, when you weren't 100% healthy. And my first day in the building, Drew Brees walked up to me and introduced himself to me. And as a young player back then who hadn't done anything in the NFL, I hadn't stepped foot on a regular season game field back then, that meant the world to me. And that instilled a little bit of confidence in me that would help propel me on to have some success in my career. So I wish Drew could be here tonight, but still love you all the same, brother. Definitely got to thank my agent, Dave Butts, who took on an injured guy coming out of college that was undersized and wasn't going to be able to compete at the combine, wasn't going to be able to go to the different all-star games that I got selected to, and still took a chance on me. I love you and I appreciate you. To my high school coach, Coach Mantello, that really helped mold me into not just a great football player back then, but a great person as well. Love you, wish you could be here. To all my friends from Columbus, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, the friends I met along the way, I love you and I appreciate you for inspiring me, pushing me not just to be the best player, but the best person I could be as well. Thank you. To my amazing family who are sitting up here in the first two rows, you guys can give them some applause. Yeah, they deserve it too. They deserve it too. The main reason why I'm here today is because of you guys, both old family and new family. Got my in-laws here too. You guys give them some applause too. Yes, we're all family now. You're not getting rid of me anytime soon. Your guys' support has been amazing in pushing me and molding me into the person I am, into the father that I am today. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And to my beautiful wife, who sits over here, she deserves the most applause, Casey. I first have to thank her for poking me on Facebook way back in 2010. That's how we guys. And a kind of funny thing, we actually met here in New Orleans in 2010. So just kind of imagine how things come full circle. Your love and inspiration has been amazing to me. You're an amazing mother, wife, best friend. You make me a better person. You mean the world to me, and I thank you for giving me the best gift that a woman can ever give a man, our beautiful babies, Grayley and Nola, who are sitting over here as well. Anybody I left out, I'm sorry. I said thank you to Timo. Come on now. We're good up here. I have good eyes still. I don't have a good hand, guys. I always had a dream when I was younger playing in the NBA, but as you can see, I'm a little bit vertically challenged. And I was playing in a rec basketball game about a month and a half ago, and somehow, some way, I broke my hand. So Sean told me, hey, you're not getting any younger. So I'm not getting any younger, but I still am handsome. So I'll take that. Pierre, man. Yeah, wow, you thought I forgot, huh? I ain't forget. My brain is still in good shape for right now. I was here a couple years before Pierre was here, and from day one when he came in, I loved how he worked. We had some running backs at the time, Aaron Stecker, Reggie Bush, Deuce McAllister, all these guys that were big-name guys that had been here for a little while. We drafted a guy named Aaron Pittman in the 4th round. Was that name Aaron Pittman? Antonio Pittman, my bad. He who shall remain nameless. That guy was drafted in the 4th round, but as an undrafted free agent myself, I kind of took a liking to the guys that were undrafted, the underdogs, the guys who the cards or the deck was stacked against them. And I saw it from day one. OTAs, we didn't even have to have pads on. I saw that this guy was going to be special. But once we went to training camp at Millsaps in 2007, I'm like, this guy is for real. And not only is this guy for real, but he's going to play for us. I don't know what's going to happen with that 4th round guy who we're not going to name again, but this guy, Pierre Thomas, is going to be here for a long time. If you guys are looking for a new scout, I think I've got some talent. Obviously, I was right. But even beyond what Pierre did on the football field, I'm sure we're going to see some amazing highlights of this guy. We all know how great he was. But to me, Pierre and I were kind of like frickin' frack here in New Orleans. Where one of us was, the other one was. And when we were without each other somewhere, people would say, hey, Lance, where is Pierre? And I would say, well, is Pierre my girlfriend? Like, I was always confused. Like, yeah, that's my guy and everything, but we're not that close. But we actually shared locker space together. We were locker roommates. His locker was next to mine for 7 years. And he's a guy that not only did we play together and hang out here, but we traveled together. He was at my wedding. I talked to him all the time. I couldn't imagine going into the Hall of Fame or be more proud going into the Hall of Fame with anybody other than Pierre. I think it's an awesome story. Guys that kind of came up in this league the same way, the tough route, or as Coach Payton always says, not starting off on third base. We started in the parking lot. I love you, brother, and congratulations. All that being said, I'm proud, obviously, but I think the thing that I'm most proud about is my story. The fact that I could be an inspiration, hopefully, to young kids these days that are undersized, who aren't the fastest kids, who have dreams of doing great and amazing things but don't think that they're quite cut out for it. They can just look to me as an example. And I go all over the place, and I speak to kids all the time, and I tell them my story. And they always ask me, like, how did you do it? How did you achieve this level of success and greatness in your profession? And I credit it to a word that I heard my junior year at Toledo called stick-to-itiveness. I had a certain level of stick-to-itiveness about me that whenever I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it. In the moment that I was signing contracts in the NFL, it didn't matter if it was the first one or the 13th one. I was going to do whatever it took to make sure that I achieved that goal. And then when I got there, I wanted to make sure that I stayed there. It's hard to get to the NFL. It's even harder to stay in the NFL for as long as guys like Pierre and I played. And my attitude was always that I didn't quite make it. That allowed me to show up to work every day and compete and try to get just a little bit better each and every day. So I'm most proud about my story being an inspiration to young kids. I think that'll be something that'll live on for a long time. And with that being said, thank you. I love you all.
Three minutes and 1 second. Good night, everyone. I don't know about you, but he's standing about 7 feet tall now. Lance Moore, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure at this time to introduce our sponsor for both of our inductees here this evening. We've partnered with them on our Saints Hall of Fame weekend, and it's become a big hit in Biloxi. We had a fantastic experience this past year, and they do a terrific job. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Corey Councilman of IP Casino Resort and Spa. Corey?
Thank you, Ken. I promise I'm going to keep it short and sweet. On behalf of the IP Casino, I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Benson, Mr. Lashaw, Mickey Loomis, Ken Trahan. Congratulations, Lance, Pierre. Without further ado, Ken, I'll turn it over to you.
We'll ask Lance to come on back here, along with Corey and Dennis, and we're going to have you guys unveil the portrait of Lance Moore that will hang in the Saints Hall of Fame forever. So you guys can just pull it down from each side and show everybody what we have here. Anytime you're ready.
Where you going to go, man? We're going. There we go.
Once again, congratulations to Lance Moore. Draw your attention to the screens on either side one more time this evening to witness some of the outstanding highlights of a guy that's been an inspiration as well and was a tremendous player here and a great person too, Pierre Thomas.
Pierre Thomas was originally signed as an undrafted free agent by the New Orleans Saints in 2007 out of Illinois. The Chicago native appeared in 105 games with 41 starts over 8 seasons with the Saints from 2007 through 2014.
The career of Pierre Thomas was just beginning. On the Monday night stage, number 23 announced his arrival to the football world.
Pierre Thomas breaks through a line of tacklers at the line of scrimmage, outruns the secondary on a 31-yard touchdown ramble.
All of a sudden, he's becoming like, I know I'm the man right now. I know that this team can rely on me to be the running back.
Pierre Thomas will have to return this kickoff from the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20. Pierre Thomas breaks free. If he can beat the kicker, he's gone. Midfield, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. One Falcon trying to chase him down, and he will inside the 20-yard line. Pierre Thomas, great return.
Give me 11, Pierre. Give me 11, Pierre Thomas.
20. 27.
Bree sets up a little screen to Pierre Thomas. He takes it upfield. 3, 2, 1, touchdown.
He accumulated 3,745 yards and 28 touchdowns on 818 rushes and added 2,608 yards and 12 touchdowns on 327 receptions.
In Week 15, Pierre Thomas continued his breakout season. Against the Bears, the undrafted Chicago native showed his hometown crowd just how far he had come.
Thomas slips the tackle, dives into the end zone, touchdown.
That was all Pierre Thomas right there.
On the draw play, this is Pierre Thomas exploding, and Thomas is free. 30, 25, 20, down to the 15, then 5, touchdown, Pierre Thomas.
Number 23 also showed that his celebration dances still have a ways to go.
Thomas ranks 4th in franchise history at the time of his induction on the team's career rushing list, 7th on the team's career scrimmage yard list, and 8th in total touchdowns. Off the field, Thomas excelled even more, being named the club's 2013 Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for his dedication to supporting the community. He started the I Can Foundation in 2012, which is a non-profit public charity founded to help prevent and educate youth and adults about the ongoing and rising issues of childhood obesity in the U.S. through its programs and activities and was also designed to promote living a healthy lifestyle through physical activities as well as a proper diet. His annual events include a Christmas healthy food and toy drive, where he delivered toys and healthy snacks to underprivileged children. Thomas has also been active on the horticultural front by planting edible gardens at schools in his hometown, and has also led youth health initiatives through various programs his foundation offers.
It was also a memorable return home for Chicago native Pierre Thomas.
Thomas fighting to the goal line, stretches the ball across, breaking the plane.
Hometown! I'll give it to the hometown!
Setting up the screen for Thomas. Pierre Thomas with a convoy in front. Gets inside the 15 to the 10. He's to the 5, diving into the end zone. Touchdown Saints. Touchdown Pierre Thomas.
He's the Chicago kid! He's the Chicago kid! Hey, how we go? Good job, boy. Home team.
They came in the wrong house.
Good job, BT.
They came in the wrong house. Let's keep it going.
A true winner on and off the field. Please welcome to the Saints Hall of Fame, number 23, Pierre Thomas.
Here to present Pierre Thomas is his namesake, the original. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Pierre Thomas, Sr.
Thank you. I just had to introduce myself. My name is Charles Pierre Thomas Sr. I was given this honor by my son, Charles Pierre Thomas Jr., to introduce him, where everybody here knows him as Pierre Thomas. I thought I was in the wrong place when I saw the sign. I said, how many Pierres are here today? Anyhow, it is truly a tremendous honor to be here for such an occasion. And to receive these awards these gentlemen have received and these accolades from all that have been here, to watch them grow. You know, I had a chance to watch him grow from the womb. And he's been special to me ever since. I can remember when he came into this world. It was a Tuesday, December 18th, 1984. Never did I imagine I would see him on this day, proud to know my son has achieved and accomplished such a great feat as being a pro athlete with the New Orleans Saints. I'm very proud to be here to acknowledge him into the Saints Hall of Fame today. And I'm very proud to know that he's amongst Lance Moore, this gentleman down here, Michael C., and to know that there's so many people appreciate him for being here today. Now, Pierre harassed me about these 3 minutes, but after our time, these other gentlemen, Lance, it's my turn now. Okay? I told him I wasn't going to embarrass him, but you know, I tell him a lot of things. He believes me. You know, he's not just my son. He has a proud mother, Greta Jo Thomas. That woman has done everything for Pierre that she possibly could, even though he wouldn't listen half the time to what she would tell him. But once, you know, Pierre started to grow and mature, focus, we knew he was going to be somebody special. I can remember there was a time when, you know, this little hyper 4-year-old came to me when I was out shopping, and I was looking for a printer cartridge at a store called BJ's. It's like the Costco and Sam Club of these days. And he runs up to me with a bat and ball and says, "Buy this for me." I looked at him and I said, "Son, that bat is as big as you are. What are you going to do with it?" Before I could say anything else, he threw that ball in my hand. He says, "Throw it to me, I can hit it." I said, "What harm can a 4-year-old do with that?" He'll probably miss it. So I tossed it over to him, that ball went sailing. Oh my God, I looked over at Pierre, I said, "Okay." I grabbed the ball and I said, "We'll need another bat, a bat and another ball." And we got out of there as quickly as possible. Right then and there, I knew I had a natural athlete. And it was time to start training my own Frank Thomas, who is our favorite White Sox player. And what he demonstrated as a 4-year-old, I could not believe. I could not do anything but support him with whatever goals he had in life. His goals grew into football. I wasn't too damn enthusiastic about a small kid in his neighborhood, my son playing football, but his passion for the game, you know, told me it was okay. And I had to let him go to feel his heart desire. And I look now where his heart's desire has led him and what it's done for this organization. But how can I just speak about him? He's had other people in his lives besides me and his mother, his coaches. Bob and Tom Pageant were his high school coaches who really put an effort into training him, and he put an effort into being trained by them to be an athlete that would follow the instructions that were given to him and be very thorough with executing them. They couldn't be here today, but they asked me to say a few words in their behalf and how they appreciated this young man at Thornton Fractional High School where Pierre attended. They talked about how they knew he was a special young man when he first stepped on the field there. How he motivated his team, you know, each and every time he got out there and gave an effort. Sometimes I think he motivated them too much. I was at one of his games where he broke his wrist and the coach kept telling him, "You got to go to the hospital." He says, "No, coach, I can get back out there and play." And I just thought to myself, is that nut my son? What determination. Well, I have to give it to him. His determination has brought him quite a ways. And I'm very proud of him today. How do I express all the success that he has had in his life? All that he has given. Every time I come to New Orleans, I hear great things about my son by just people on the street, how special he is, how respectful he is. I said, "Did he look at you in your eyes?" Because, you know, I told him the only way you're going to respect somebody is to look them in their eyes and when they're talking to you. And they said, "Yes, he does." You know, he's respectful to everyone. His team and his coaches And all these people up here have said nothing but positive things about him. I can only tell you, I'm positive that our DNA matches. I don't know how much more to say other than I'm proud of what he's done. I listened to what his coaches have said about him, how he has put forth an effort each and every time he came to school to play football. Pierre, they said, led their team to a semifinal, which they had never been to. They thought so highly of him. My daughter came to me, told me, Dad, they built a shrine for Pierre at the high school. I said, they built a shrine for Pierre at the high school. I thought that was for Saints. But Dad, he plays for the Saints. You're kidding me, right? No, they actually did, put pictures up and put up his numbers. They said that Pierre was shattering all type of records at that high school. And they wanted everybody to know that New Orleans Saints started here. Well, it went on because he eventually got a scholarship to the University of Illinois. Now, I have never been to these, institutions where they had these athletes that stood 6'5", 270-something pounds, and they were giving my son a full scholarship. I had to go down there with him because I was so proud of his achievement. But then sanity set in, and I'm looking at these huge kids being inducted, or being scouted for a position on a football team that stood so big and so wide. And I looked over at my son at 5'11", 180 pounds. I became a recruiter that day. Would you please, sir, he was standing about 5'6", 280 pounds himself, come to this university. That young man is going to need your protection. You think I'm kidding? The coaches kept saying, sir, you don't work here. Who are you here with? But, he got on the team. I was really proud of him. And he got recognized where he had, 2 MVPs there during your 4 years? Yeah. They took a chance on him. And just like the Saints, this kid walked onto the Saints football field, says, I can. Oh, that's your slogan for your foundation, isn't it? You've kept that going. I'm proud of you for that as well. But he said, I can. And he got out here and he proved to the Saints that I will and I can. I'm going to take you wherever you want to go, and I will follow you wherever you go. He followed them straight into Super Bowl 44. And you know what? I followed him too. I went down there rooting too. Well, I'm not a man of many words. I've never really stood and spoke to an audience as large as this. Most of the people that I spoke to had no choice because I was in the military and I was their sergeant. You will obey these orders. You understand this? Pierre ignores the hell out of me. I'm not one of your soldiers. I'm an NFL football player. I listen to my coaches. But he did listen to me about one thing, is if it's in your heart and it's your heart's desire, you had better stay focused on those goals. And that's one thing he did. He stayed focused on his goal. I can remember him asking him when he was at the University of Illinois if I had $5 million in any SUV you would want, would you change your mind playing football? Because I truly felt that he may be injured or maimed. He says, no, Dad. This is what I choose to do. This is my heart's desire. I says, this I can't argue with. I can only pray for your crazy behind. If that's what you want to do, I'm going to intercede for you every Sunday at church. And I'm going to get the members of the church to pray for you too. And every game he stepped out on, I watched him get injured. I was like, Lord, let him get up to see another Sunday. Because he got hit many times. It scared the heck out of me. I still feel the bruises. I mean, see, you know. It was the moment that he called me and says, Dad, I want you to come down to New Orleans with me. I says, for what? I've been down there already. They got a bunch of oysters, crawdads, and good people. He says, no, I just want you to come down there and introduce me into the Saints Hall of Fame. I was speechless. I says, you want me? I'm not that articulate. I'm like, what's that guy's name? Moses? When the Lord asked him to speak. You know what my tongue is like? He said, curb it. My wife said, I'm going to pray for you. What else can I say other than I'm very proud to introduce my son, Pierre Thomas, to the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame.
All right. How we doing? How we doing? All right. Before we start this, first off, I would like to thank God because without him, none of this will be possible. So, amen to that. And then I'm going to, real quick, since we was throwing shades earlier, I'm going to talk about my man Lance over here. You want to talk about the way I'm dressed? It's all right, man. You know what? I'll let you have the fashion right now because I'm going to tell you, I got the help, bro. But I am happy and I am thankful for whoever put this program together because you showed me Lance do have hair. Oh, he did at some time. He just went in reverse. But it's all right. You got a little bit up top. You're just keeping it low. All right. You put the roof down, huh? Keep it clean. All right. It's cool. No, that's my brother. I love him, though. I love that outfit, man. I told you he was looking clean earlier. But I want to let you all know how football started for me. But before I get into that, I don't know if many of you knew, and my father mentioned it too, baseball was my first love. I mean, like he said, that story, we were in the store. He threw the ball, like I was trying to get him to do it just to show him. He threw that ball and I knocked it somewhere in that store. I don't remember where it was at, but we got up out of there real quick so we would get in trouble. But no, ever since then, he's been training me to play baseball. He was a fan of baseball, and that was my first love, and I loved it. You know, like he said, White Sox, Chicago White Sox was my team. Go Sox. I'm sorry, not the Cubs, but I'm still got love, still Chicago, but got to go Sox. No, but if anybody would have told me, if he would have told me when I was younger, and I didn't know this at the time, that you make a lot more guaranteed money in baseball than football, I don't think I'd be here. I'm sorry. I'm going to put that out there. I probably would have stuck with baseball. But no, I am very happy and blessed that the path that God laid out for me. I am very happy. I wouldn't trade it for anything now. I mean, I'm kind of glad it went this direction because it got me an opportunity to be here and stand here in front of so many people and meet so many people throughout my journey. And this speech is not going to be about, you know, my whole journey to the NFL, but I'm going to give a little bit of how football started for me, playing outside with my friends in the backyard like most, I guess, little kids do sometimes. Football, that was my thing. Played in the backyard like basketball, baseball with my friends. But I did not know there was a such thing as organized football. Did not know that. My area was just more baseball. Baseball, baseball, baseball. That's what he kept throwing in front of me. But that's okay. Like I said, baseball was my love. And then I was told by a buddy of mine there was a football team out there, organized football. Then there's one movie that actually got me to play football. It was the movie Little Giants. Now, I'm gonna tell you, as soon as I saw those kids on the movie, I'm like, what is this? I know this is football, but I didn't know at this age you can play it. I'm like, where they do that at? I need to figure out how can I get on the team. I need to play that. I ended up running to a friend of mine that actually played for the Lansing Lions around the neighborhood, and he told me about it, and I ran to my mother, and I was like, hey, I need to do this right now. She's like, nah, you're going to get hurt. I said, no, I'm not. I'm playing this right now, and here I am. But like I said, this is not going to be a speech about, you know, my whole journey in the NFL. It's more of a thank you speech. Just like all of us. Lance hit on a lot of people. I mean, I was just telling everybody over there, like, we almost got the same similar type of speech. So you knocked out a lot of big names, but I mean, I also want to piggyback off of that and say thank you to a lot of you guys. But I am going to mention a few names here. But to get started, I first off want to thank a best friend of mine. He's not here. He couldn't join us at the time. It's my buddy Terrell Golson. That's the kid, my best friend, who introduced me to organized football. So I thank him for showing me that this does exist and I can play this and show this to my mom and just have fun with it. So I thank him. Second was the organization Lansing Lions Football in my hometown. That was the organized team that, you know, I played on and I did well on for 1 year, and then I moved on to high school after that. My father, I want to say thank you for having the patience to see that I can play and I wasn't going to get hurt. I know you wanted me to play baseball, but hey, man, football turned out good too. Baseball still pays. It does still pay more. I ain't gonna lie about that. I want to thank my high school coaches, Tom and Bob Pageant. Without them, I think my football career wouldn't have been to where it was at. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say I was the best student, the best kid. I wasn't. It took me a while to get to where I'm at and to have the same mindset that I had. I mean, where I grew up in the south side of Chicago, it wasn't too many role models. It wasn't too much, I guess, positive things going on. But I had some good friends, and I had good teachers and coaches there to pull me. All I had to do was listen. And just like he said earlier, I mean, yeah, I was a little hard-headed when I was little. I mean, I'm happy my mom dealt with me and my father. You know, I'm happy that they dealt with me. But it took me a while. I mean, but that's life. You learn. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from it. And I listen. Even though sometimes, like they say, I might not have, but I was listening. I was really listening to what everything was saying. But I would like to thank my coaches for so much. They looked out for me. Paths was going in the wrong direction, and they just put me on the right track. So I thank them, and I love them so much for putting me on that right track and actually saving my football career. So I thank them too. And they won't be here. They're not here tonight, but they will be flying in tomorrow. So I'm happy that they can come in, you know, due to a football game that they got to coach back home. I wish they was here to see this too, but we're videoing it. Y'all got it, right? Yeah, we videoing everything, and I'm going to send it to them, make sure they see that. I'd like to thank my college, University of Illinois, for a great experience throughout my college career. I hear you. There you go. We got a Illini here. Next, New Orleans Saints, Mr. and Mrs. Benson. Like we miss Mr. Benson, and I'm just so happy and grateful that, you know, he knew my name. Because, I mean, Mr. Benson, he has a lot on his plate. He's a busy man. He's a great man, a great person when you get a chance to talk to him, to talk to. It's just I knew he was more calling me, hey, number 23, until he started to see that I was an okay player and I was a good person. I help out in the community a lot. And then he started coming to me and say, hey, Pierre. It was shocking just that he said my name. And I'm just like, oh, wow, this man know my name. So I'm kind of making an image here. Okay, that's kind of cool. But I say, hey, Mr. B, how you doing? We talked. And I mean, like I said, he's a great person to talk to, very disciplined. He was just full of joy and cheer and loved this community so much. And I miss him dearly. And I wish he was here with us, and our prayers are with him. So I thank you guys for everything. Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton. Mickey, I see you in the back there. I'd like to thank you, too, for taking a chance on me. I heard you had to pull my room, like, out of the attic somewhere. Y'all went in the back room. I didn't know what. During draft day, y'all didn't know nothing about me. You pulled my room and you say, hey, we're going to just get this guy a shot. We're going to see what he got. And I just thank you guys for giving me that opportunity to show this organization, to show you guys what I'm capable of doing. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Like I said, the entire Saints organization, thank you. Lance hit on a lot of you guys, and I mean, like I said, I want to piggyback off that. I thank you guys so much. Lish, I seen you earlier. Thank you so much for help setting everything up. There you go. Set everything up for me in the community when I wanted to help out and do so much. Also with the Children's Hospital. That wasn't mentioned. I was real big in the Children's Hospital. I went to go visit those kids a lot. Also, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was in that game show called Minute to Win It. I don't know if y'all see me. Please, that was a little embarrassing, so I hope y'all don't check it out. But no, it was fun. But it was fun, and it was against actually my partner, that was going with the game. We were actually my teammate at the time. Not teammates for real. He's Vashanto Shenko, I think that was the name. Lance, you good with names. The tight end for the Vikings. I'm sorry if I said his name. Vasante, right? Yeah, Vasante Shenko. He was my teammate in the game, and he was with the Vikings, but that was after we beat their butt in the play, in the finals for the Super Bowl on the journey. But and the money that we won from that TV show, I donate to Children's Hospital. Lish helped me put all that together, and I mean, their staff, their position helps out so much in the community. Make sure everything is organized for us players to go out there and help out within the community, and it's just so perfect and organized. And I thank you guys so much for doing that and making things a lot easier, making our lives a lot easier to help out in the community. So thank you so much. My teammates, Colston, a few of them are here. Colston, Devery. I think Roman is here. I'm not sure. I know he's in town. T-Mo, a.k.a. The Leg. I mean, a lot of other guys I can mention. Drew, Will, miss him to death. I mean, the list goes on. Deuce, Reggie, Sproles. I mean, it's a lot of guys, just like Lance mentioned earlier. I love you guys. You guys are my brothers. You guys are my teachers. You taught me so much. You helped me grow in this world. I thank you guys so much, your support. I mean, the memories that you've given me is something I would never forget. Something I would never forget. And I would truly hold on to that forever, because I always say this, for us players, it's all about the memories. Even though we took home a Super Bowl ring, but also with ways heavier than that is the memories that we gathered together. So I thank you guys. I can't leave this man out. He worked for the Saints organization as well. Greg McMahon. I don't know if you guys know this, but Greg McMahon spotted me in high school. He was a coach, special teams coach, the head special teams coach at the University of Illinois. I played against his son in the playoffs in high school. And that year, that time, I had the best run in the state of Illinois against his son's team. I made about, I'm sorry if I'm just a little bragging, there's a bragging right here. I made about maybe 9 to all 11 defenders miss and scored a touchdown. It was one of my favorite and best runs in my high school career, against his son's team, and he's seen that. And he went on to Illinois, and he said, hey, it's this kid, Pierre Thomas, south side of Chicago, TF South. He's outstanding. You might need to send a guy down there to watch him. So they came down, started viewing me then, and next thing you know, I got a full ride to the University of Illinois. Now he's my coach there. 2 years go by, Greg had to move on, got a whole new coaching staff. He was under Ron Turner's program and staff, and he moved on to go to the New Orleans Saints. I did not know that at the time. Then 2 years, I'm into my last 2 years into University of Illinois. I'm with Ron Zook, which is also a great coach. He used to coach here too as well. And he had a great organization. And once it was time to enter the draft and all that, he reached out to my agent. He reached out to my agent and said, "Hey, we would like to have Pierre come here. I'm trying to get him drafted, but of course that didn't happen. But I'm still happy with the results." He told Sean and Mickey about me, and that's how my name got pulled out of the back room, I guess out of the attic or wherever they had it. And you know, they gave me a shot. So when I noticed that I had an inside man, I just went straight to him and just asked him a question, like, "Hey, tell me what can I do to survive in this league?" He told me, "Just keep your name in their mouth in a positive way." I said, "Okay, I can do that. That's no problem." So I did all I can do, everything they asked me to do, and showed them that I deserved to be here. I actually drove down here in my car that I had in college with my cousin. We drove down together. A lot of the guys on that was, the same year as me in 2007 was trying out for the team, looked at me and was like, "Are you crazy? Why did you drive? You don't even know if you're going to make the team." I looked at them and said, "Oh, I'm making this team. I didn't come here to play around. I'm making this team." And when it came down to it, yeah, they told me. Actually, when it came down to it, they didn't tell me nothing. I'm come back to the hotel, the Airport Hilton Hotel, after practice and meetings, to find my luggage all packed up neatly in the hallway. I said, "Oh, wow, they serious here." They was like, "Yeah, once you don't make it, you gone. You got to get up out of here." I said, "Okay." So I started collecting my stuff. I went downstairs, but I didn't get a chance to leave right then and there. I stayed for an extra day. And I get in the room. I started making sure all my stuff was packed right and nobody took anything. And I get the phone call, because I didn't get a phone call from anybody telling me, "Hey, you made the team." That did not happen. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, got to drive back to Chicago by myself. Where's my cousin? don't got no money to fly him out. Got to drive back. So Greg called me right as I was getting ready to walk out. He was like, "Hey, I want to say congratulations." I'm like, "Congratulations for what?" He was like, "And nobody tell you?" I'm like, "Tell me what?" "You made the team." He said, "So your butt better be at meetings and practice tomorrow, 8 a.m. sharp." I said, "Greg, don't mess with me. Are you serious?" He's like, "Yes." And right then and there, I jumped on that bed like a little kid. I was so happy and so thrilled. Man, I tell you, that joy right there. But I just like to thank Greg McMahon for being there and supporting me through all my years. He was a guy who never given up on me and always seen the talent within me, so I thank him so much. Another one of my good friends who is not here at the time too, Vince Calabrese. That kid is like my brother. He's like my brother. He's been there with me through thick and thin. We worked out together, compete together, playing all sports together, baseball, football, basketball, competing all the time. And we even pushed the car to build up our leg strength together. I mean, we trained so hard, so much. We always tried to outcompete each other. And he is one of the reasons why I'm also here too. I love him to death, and I thank him for all he's done to help me get to the point to where I'm at. Because this journey and the way I made it, this success right here, it wasn't just me. It was these people I'm mentioning, the journey that I took, the university, the Lansing Lions, my friend Terrell, my father. I mean, my coaches from high school, all these people are part of this reason why I'm here and why I'm receiving this awesome and unbelievable award. And my family, I'd like to thank you guys so much for supporting me during this amazing journey, being there for me, supporting me during tough times, always reminding me not to give up and keep working, and just being my biggest fan base everywhere. I thank you and I love you guys so much for all you've done. My cousin Quentin Crockett. Man, I can tell you one thing. I'm gonna try not to cry here, bro. I love you so much, bro. You pushed me, you motivated me. And this is true. He used to tell me, he's like, man, sometimes when I was just tired, I just wanted to relax. He's like, man, why you sitting down? Why you tired? Get your butt up. You being a lazy bum. Do you know there's other guys in your position right now that's working out harder than you? He was like, man, you're going to be a scrub. You ain't going to be nobody. He's just downplaying me this whole entire, I'm just like, wow, man, you're supposed to be my cousin. You're supposed to be blood. You're supposed to be downplaying me, just telling me. But he knew that was going to push my buttons. He knew that was going to get my butt up and work out and try to be the best. He just knew how to get underneath my skin to get me to work out, and I appreciate you so much for that, bro. I love you so much for all you done for me and been there for me. Usually and he's my stat collector. I do not know my stats at all. I just call him up, hey, Q, what'd I do today? How'd I do? So he always tell me, oh man, this is what they said, this is what you did that, but I need you to do, but he used to tell me everything. I never looked at my stats, never cared about all that, because it didn't matter to me. I love playing the sport. I love competing. I just love being out there. That was my passion. That's what I love. The numbers, I don't care. I'm just happy that I could put up some good numbers. And I mean, I'm happy that he was happy to even to brag. So I guess I love you, man. I love you. And last but not least, I gotta drink to this one because this is gonna be tough for me. This one might be real tough for me. The woman who made it all possible for me, who raised me, who taught me not to give up and fight for anything and everything I want in this world, but also reminded me to stay humble. And let me tell you this. This is pretty funny. Me and my mother we don't have a normal mother-son relationship. Our relationship is unorthodox. It's crazy, it's fun, it's exciting. I know she's my mother, but I look at her also as my friend. We talk about so many different things. I can open up about anything to her. Some things she do not want to hear because, I mean, she's a woman and I'm a young boy, and she'd be like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me my son. No, that's not my son. Yeah. But I love her so much because her way of showing love to me is just, it was so different. She's a cool mother. My friends loved her. I mean, everybody just loved having a conversation with her. She keeps it real. And that's one thing I love about her. She keeps it so real. And when I mean real, she got a mouth on her too. She got a mouth on her. But I love that because I know that's coming from deep within. She can say, oh, sweetie, you got to be humble because everybody loves it. Everybody respects that. No, she kept it real. She was like, if you don't be humble, ain't nobody going to mess with you. Ain't nobody going to like you. And she told me this. And she didn't say, well, she said stay humble after this. But this is the first thing she said. I don't know if she remembered this, and I don't hope this don't embarrass her. But, hey, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to keep it real, Mom. She told me, you ain't shh. Y'all can finish the rest. But she didn't mean that in a bad way. She meant it to tell me, never think you better than anybody else. understand that there's people out here who's working hard just like you, and there's people out here better than you. So remember, you ain't But just hearing her say that, my mother, I took that as so much love. So much love. I told you, our relationship is unorthodox. It ain't normal. But I love her that because she's being her and she's just being real and raw. And to me, that's kind of like how I talk to my friends. Like we joke around, we play, and it's like, yo, I can do that with my mom. Like, I love you, Maz. Shoot, okay. But this woman, she taught me so much. This woman here always supported me when times got tough for me. There's been times I told her several times, like, yo, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make it. And she's like, no, you're going to keep fighting. You're going to keep trying. You ain't going to give up. I'm not going to let you give up. You're going to do what you have to do. This woman is my #1 cheerleader, fan, my friend, my queen, my everything. Mom, I thank you so much. And knowing we have a good relationship and you say the things you say, I just got to ask you this one question. Am I still ain't shh? You see? Still ain't shh. That's why I love her. She gonna keep me humble. That's, I mean, you see it now. I love her to death, and I mean, she keeps it real. She always keep me grounded, and so do my family and my friends and everyone that's been around me. And I just thank everyone who been on this journey with me, because I'm letting you guys know this ain't just me up here. Everyone. So I thank you all. Thank you.
All right, Pierre. Corey, you can go help Pierre to unveil his portrait. It'll hang in the Saints Hall of Fame on a permanent basis. He can't get over the captain thing. He's got to go shake everybody's hand. Want to thank our artist, Nude Reynolds, who does an outstanding job. Got one more order of business, then we'll have one or two words in our closing comments. We're going to present our Joe Gemelli Fleur-de-Lis Award now. We saved this for our local hero last, for Michael C. Hebert to come up and receive his Joe Gemelli Fleur-de-Lis Award, so as he makes his way forward. I'm going to take him with him. I'm going to ask Mrs. Gail Benson to unveil that for you, okay? So she's going to unveil that Fleur-de-Lis Award for you and then present it to you. Before we have our benediction, I'm going to call upon the outstanding owner of the New Orleans Saints, Mrs. Gail Benson, to say a couple of words. Gail?
be very brief, I promise. Thank you, Ken, for your kind words. Dennis, thank you so much for being such an outstanding president. And I'd just like to thank and congratulate our honorees, Lance, Pierre, and Michael. Thank y'all so much. And I just want to let y'all know how awesome our organization is. Our executives, our employees, our team, players, coaches, and most of all, our fans. Thank you.
Three minutes, you got the memo. This is awesome. This could go on all night because these guys have been tremendous to hear from. How about one more round of applause for Lance Moore, Pierre Thomas, and Michael C. Hebert. As I call upon Father David Karen to come up and close our proceedings, I want to remind you that the restaurants are available for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, so you can eat. You can have all the drinks you like. Of course, I also want to mention our sports memorabilia silent auction. Trey Ledbetter's here with some tremendous items in the corner of the room. You need to make your way over there and make some bids on some awesome items, including some Saints items. So please do that. Enjoy the food and drink. And before we close, I'm going to call upon Father David Karen to come up and close us with our benediction. Father?
Let us pray. Gracious God, with our honorees, we give you thanks. For each one here, we give you thanks. As we are sent forth from this gathering, grant us traveling mercies and protection. Help us, our loved ones, and all the Saints fans to be open to discovering your love. May the remembrance of your goodness and generosity propel us out into a world that often feels dark. Send us from here in the power of your Spirit to be sparks of your divine light. May we carry your kingdom love in our hearts and in our actions always. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Thanks to Father David Karen. Want to also recognize Mr. Joe Impastato, our president, his fine wife Mika over here. It's great to have them with us. They've been helping us for so many years now. And by the way, they have a nice fundraiser for us at Impastato's restaurant Monday night that the guys will be at as well, with all you can eat and drink, just like you need more food and drink, right? But right now, you're going to go enjoy that. We'll have some door prizes a little bit later as well. Check out the sports memorabilia. Make your bid. Thank you, one and all. God bless you.